The president is popular with independents nationally. Washington Post ABC poll a week ago, 55% approval, job approval among independent voters. That's north of where he was on Election Day last year. His job approval in New Jersey, 61%. In Virginia, 57%. So it is the case that the historic trend in these governor's races was cutting against us. And it is the case that independents supported Republican candidates. But independents nationally and independents in both of these states are strong for the president. That's why we've won.
So nothing to worry about.
Well, no, we're going to look at everything. We wanted to win those races.
George.
But no, let me finish. That's why we won the 2 congressional races. The only national races Tuesday on national issues were the races in Congress. We won both, and we are 5 for 5 in congressional races this year.
We are 18 of 29 in special elections this year.
Not in Congress. You haven't won a congressional race.
All special elections.
But
all
no,
special
none
elections.
in Congress.
But look, that's not the point. When you lose the governorship of New Jersey, you better be paying attention, and there's a reason why you lost. And it has nothing to do with the president's popularity. Independents came to Chris Christie and Bob McDonnell because they had something to say. They talked about the issues that they were confronting every single day. They were concerned about how you leverage what's happening here in Washington with what's going on in my state. You're talking about health care. There's a downward pressure on my economy, in my neighborhood, in my household. So people made this convergence, this connection between the so-called national issues and the kitchen table issues. That's number one. Number two, the Democratic Party had better pay attention to what the people out here are saying. You can no longer dismiss people by sitting on your cell phone when they're talking to you, or calling them un-American, or making them feel like you don't give a heck about what their concerns are. That's what the voters laid on the table this year. And you walk into 2008 thinking you're going to wrap it all around the president's popularity. Call Speaker Boehner now, because it's going to happen.
What do you think independents were saying? There is an awful lot of evidence in the polls that I've seen that they were concerned about the economy, and that they were concerned that the deficit is going to grow and cripple the economy even more in the
George,
future.
what I think independents were saying is what they said in exit polls, which is in governor's races, they view them as local and state races. They don't nationalize them. Even with the strong independent approval of the president, they said they cast these votes in these state races based on state issues. But again, all of the races and all of the changes in Congress this year, where they are federalized, we've won 5 congressional races. Every special election since Inauguration Day in the House has gone to a Democrat, including in some very tough Republican areas. And we picked up 2 Senate seats. Chairman Steele and others chased Arlen Specter from the Republican Party to the Democratic Party. And we won the recount for Al Franken, and he took over Norm Coleman's seat. Every change in the Hill has gone to the Democrats since President Obama came into office.
And that hasn't made things any better for the American people. So you can tout bringing all these Democrats to Washington, and look what you get. You get a 2,000-page bill with 2,000 reasons to vote against it.
You talk about a national for the first time in 2 years.
Well, that's a blip on the screen. Let's see what happens as we go forward, because all this infusion of trillions of spending by this administration and this Congress comes home to roost. And you know where it roosts, George? It roosts in the back pockets of small business owners in this country, which this administration has done zip for.
But there was a warning. There was a warning sign for
what jobs are small business owners creating right now? We have a 10.2.
Sure, absolutely. I'll talk about it. Let me answer.
Excuse me. No, we have a 10.2.
You just asked me a question.
I'm going to answer it for you.
Ask the question. You answer.
Yeah,
we have a 10.2 unemployment rate right now. Where do you think that comes from?
Sure,
that comes from small business owners who can't hire. That comes from small business.
Okay, now do I get to answer the question?
Let him answer the question.
No, wait, Governor, you filibustered on the federal stuff. Let me talk about what real people are.
George, I'm a governor.
The reality of it is,
I am a governor, and we have got small businesses.
I was a lieutenant governor, so
we have small businesses all over Virginia that are doing infrastructure projects because of this stimulus bill. Water and sewage treatment plants, roads. A great example, right?
Contract work.
Well,
that's not creating jobs.
Are you kidding me?
That's not creating
innovation and construction is very, very important to the economy.
What about
GDP is growing again?
GDP
is growing again for the first time in 2 years. At the end of the Bush administration, fallen by 6.5% a year. Now it's going up by 3.5% a year. I know Michael wants to explain that away, but that's a good thing. Let's feel good about it.